Why hello there friends, it's Emma here, the Bookish Princess. In yesterday's video, I filled you guys in on what I've been reading in the past, what I read in October, and in today's video, I thought we would look ahead to what I'm hoping to read and planning to read in the rest of 2023. The year is closing in on us very quickly, we just have 2 months left, but I have a couple things that I'm hoping to finish up, and also a very exciting Advent read-along announcement, so I'll fill you in on that first. I'm going to be co-hosting this read-along with some lovely other booktubers. We have Christy from Dostoevsky in Space, Carla from Raised to Walk, Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, and Faith from Faith and Books. Now, you may recall that last Advent I did a read-along with some of these lovely ladies of a Dorothy Sayers play cycle called The Man Born to be King. This was such an extraordinary work. I had never heard of it before, and I love Dorothy Sayers. She wrote the Lord Peter Wimsey mysteries. She also wrote a book of kind of essays and talks called Letters to a Diminished Church that I really love. And this, though, is a play for the radio. So it was basically like The Chosen of the World War II era. It actually was broadcast on the BBC during World War II, and it was written like similarly, like to make people of the time period, you know, written in the language of the time period with little idioms that were contemporary and would make people, you know, would make the gospel stories come alive to people. And it was absolutely a wonderful play cycle, 12 plays. You can read it, you can listen to it. And that was so much fun to read during Advent. And then during Lent, Christy said, well, should we keep the liturgical read-alongs going? And we read a book which is right behind me, I think. I know, first I'm telling you about the past liturgical read-alongs to whet your appetite for the next book, The Cloud of Unknowing, and we just read the first part, The Cloud of Unknowing, which is by an anonymous author from hundreds of years ago, 1300s. I can't remember which century, but it was really wonderful and just so wonderful to read it and discuss it. And so this Advent, we are returning to Dorothy Sayers. We're reading another of her liturgical religious plays, He That Should Come. You can find this as a physical book, but there's also a Kindle version that I think is only $1, that it's part of a collection called 4 Sacred Plays. I actually bought that a little while ago to read a play about Faust that Dorothy Sayers wrote for Faustathon, Christy's readathon, and that was really fun. I think her plays and her religious insights are so wonderful. In fact, I think I have some more Dorothy Sayers right here because she translated, oh, if I take that out, it's gonna make things fall over. So I'll just, here, can I take out one? No, that's gonna make it fall too. I need to better arrange things. She translated Dante's Divine Comedy. I read Dorothy Sayers' translation of that a couple of years, and the notes were so wonderful. She makes it so relatable and readable, and she clearly has such a love for Dante and a love for her subject matter. I read the notes about The Man Born to be King when she was researching and reading the original Greek Gospels, you know, to try to get the story straight and translate it into a radio drama. She took the task very seriously, and it was just beautiful to read her notes. So I'm very excited to read another of her religious plays. We have a couple fun dates to remind you of. So Advent doesn't start until December 3rd, so you have plenty of time. We just thought we'd get these announcements out early so that you can start planning. On December 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna do some reading sprints here on my channel, and then our finale live stream discussion will be on Christy's channel. That'll be on December 30th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Very excited for this liturgical read-along. And speaking of liturgical occasions, today is November 1st, All Hallows Day, All Saints Day. So here's wishing you all a very happy All Saints Day. I know I'm going to be getting to Mass today. It's a holy day of obligation for Catholics. Just the other day, I had this idea. I was like, oh, All Saints Day is coming up. I should do a video about, like, you know, the best saints to read, like just a saints TBR, my favorite saints, which I've done like Lenten and Advent TBRs in the past and talked about my favorite saints. I have my classics of Western spirituality over there that I love, Saint Catherine of Siena and Teresa of Avila and Julian of Norwich, and there's so many others too. I have a subscription called Magnificat. I just have it on my phone. You can get it as a physical journal too, but it's prayers for every day, and they're always meditations, and so often they take them from the writings of great saints. And I've tried to kind of copy out the ones that I want to read, which is our most of them, and my list is getting unwieldy, so I feel like I need to sit down and like organize it into a TBR with like scheduled dates. But I always love it when a saint seems to kind of come up and tap you on the shoulder like that and be like, hey, we should be friends, you should get to know me better. In Pillars of the House by Charlotte Mary Young, which I was talking about in my October reading wrap up, I absolutely loved it. One of her characters at one point recommends to another character the writings of St. Francis de Sales, and he like quotes it in the original French. Charlotte Mary Young, there's so much erudition. Like, she is so well educated, she speaks so many languages, but she just tosses in the things that she knows so casually that it's delightful. Like St. Francis de Sales, you know, one of his sayings in French. But it made me realize I need to read St. Francis de Sales. I would not be able to read it in the original French, but I could do a translation. Anyway, I did not quite think of that idea early enough to get it done for this All Saints Day, but hopefully I can plan ahead for 2024 to do some more liturgical and spiritual and religious reading, because I just find that to be so enriching. You know, that's your roots that keep you grounded. Our Dorothy Sayers play should be lovely for Advent. I have a couple other little Advent things too. I did end up getting the Blessed is She Advent devotional journal again. I did this last year. They do devotional journals for Lent and Advent. They're a little pricey, so I don't always get them, but this year I thought it would be really fun to try. And they actually, I don't think they've ever done this before, they have a devotional Advent guide for men. So I got one for Athos, and we'll have to get a report from him to see how he likes it. But here, should I open this up so we can take a quick look inside? They just have different readings and prompts, and it's a really pretty journal. They even have some, is it called Visio Divina? They have Lectio Divina, and then they have some beautiful artwork as well that they invite you to contemplate. So very excited to have that for Advent. And then I also would like to continue reading more from my Elizabeth Gouge Diary of Prayer. She does have this split up by date. So that's August. Sometimes the dates are related to liturgical dates on the calendar, and other times they're just related to general themes. But they're all really beautiful prayers, and I love Elizabeth Gouge so much. Kate Howe actually just told me about a book kind of sort of similar to this that Charlotte Mary Young loved. Kate was saying that Charlotte Mary Young is like the Elizabeth Gouge of the Victorian period. And I can totally see that. Surprisingly, I don't have another Charlotte Mary Young on my TBR yet for this year. I feel like I need to make progress and get other books that I've been meaning to read under control. And then maybe towards Christmas, if I'm free enough, then I'll start my next Charlotte Mary Young. But the book Kate was telling me about was John Keble or Keble. Not 100% sure on the pronunciation. John Keble's The Christian Year. It was published in like 1827, I believe, and was very popular in the Victorian period. She said that he was influential in the Oxford movement when the Anglicans were kind of returning to different traditions, which I feel like you see a little bit of church. I need to stop digressing into Charlotte Mary Young. I feel like you see a little bit of church politics though, and traditions, and you know, should services be more pared back or should they be elaborate with beautiful songs? You see that in Pillars of the House, which I'll stop talking about Pillars of the House, but it was so good. See, what I need to finish before the end of the year is Anna Karenina. I need to just sit down and get it done, which you can see, you know, I've made a pretty good chunk. That's been read, so we have a little over halfway through. Just need to power through. I would also like to get through the rest of the Narnia series. Children's books you can get through so quickly. I'm relatively hopeful that I can finish Prince Caspian and then get through the last three before the end of the year. I feel like these will be fun reads too. They will not linger on the TBR the way Anna Karenina has. Whenever I buy a new book, I always like to break it in. I hate to have books on my shelf that I've never like actually read that copy. So I have read The Winter's Tale by Shakespeare before, but I think it would be fun to read this winter. And it's always nice to have a Shakespeare on your list that you either just finished or that you're planning to read next. P.G. Wodehouse, who I love so much and who writes so beautifully, he, I think, always was reading Shakespeare. I mean, you can see from his books, he's often quoting Shakespeare, but I was listening to a radio interview with him, and he was talking about his favorite authors and how he's almost always picking up a Shakespeare, which I think is such a great habit to have. A lot of these are series that I'm just trying to get through. This though I have been holding off on because I know whenever I pick it up I will just fly through it because I love Laura Ingalls Wilder. It's been such a treat to return to the Little House on the Prairie series this year. I am up to these Happy Golden Years, which is one of my favorites. Little Town on the Prairie I just read, which is also so delicious, and these Happy Golden Years is also fantastic. After that there is the first 4 years. So this last book I don't think I've shown you guys. I bought it a little earlier this year. It's called Nordic Tales, illustrations by Ulla Thinnell, and it is, who's the publisher? Chronicle Books. It's just so beautiful. Isn't it lovely? And it has these full page illustrations, and it just seems very wintry and like it would be a fun book to start the winter off with. I also, of course, have A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens on my list. That'll be our book club pick, which we're not doing a November and a December read. We're kind of just doing one to like sandwich in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So our meeting will be at the beginning of December. And it should be a very fun seasonal discussion of Dickens. Lots of lovely books on the list. It'll be fun to finish up some of these series and then make my goals for 2024. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube and also over on Substack, bookishprincess.substack.com. I've been trying to post my videos there as well. So if you want to watch it without the ads and be able to read the additional blog posts as well, make sure you go check that out. I hope you'll join us for the Advent read along. Make sure you go check out the other co-hosts. I'll leave all their channels linked in the description below. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Until then, stay bookish.